Hi, I'm Julie Puccini. Today I'd like to talk to you a little bit about interviewing. So you get that phone call, and your heart's racing. You're thinking, what's going on? And they call you and they say, guess what? You got an interview. Out of those hundreds of resumes that you sent in, or hopefully just a couple of those, you got the interview. So now what? What do? Interviewing isn't something that you do every day. It's not something that you practice. I think it feels daunting to think about getting interrogated by one, two, or maybe a multiple panel of people. So what now? Preparation. Preparation is the key. And that's what I'm here for today. I'm going to help you to better understand what it takes to have a really great interview. Keep in mind that you are marketing yourself to everybody. You are having to sell yourself. You have to sell what you have in relation to all those skills that you told them you had on your resume. And so how do you do that? It takes practice, it takes preparation, and it takes a lot of work. And so what I want you to do today is listen to a little bit of these techniques and these tools that I have, and these are going to help you to succeed when you're in front of people and you're probably going to be very nervous. But you have to get in there and make a very good first impression. And remember, you're going to project yourself to a potential employer, and you have to tell them what you can do for them. They're going to be constantly asking and thinking about how you can benefit their company and what kind of a fit that you are. From the moment that you're in that reception area, you're being watched, so make sure that you have proper decorum. Make sure that you're dressed appropriately, and that's something that we're going to get into a little bit later also. Make sure your cell phones are off. Make sure you're not texting anybody. Make sure the gum's out of the mouth. Make sure that everything that you do is saying, I can be a good employee. When you go to the desk, the front desk, to check in, make sure that you shake hands with the receptionist. Make sure you introduce yourself and smile and let them know. Please be there at least 15 minutes early, and this will allow you for some time. So from the moment that you get into this office, make sure that you are standing tall and you're confident and you're smiling. Make sure that you give a firm handshake. And that's something too that we can teach you over at the Career Center, is how to give a good handshake. And don't be surprised if there's going to be multiple people interviewing you. I've had panels of interviews of 9 people before. I'm not saying that this would happen to you, but be prepared. It could be 1, it could be 2, it could be 10. Make sure that you also bring multiple copies of your resume, and you're handing them out to them as you greet each person, and smile and be confident in who you are. And when you're shaking hands with each person, introduce yourself to each person, and if you can, recite their name back. For instance, hi John, it's good to meet you, John. I'm Julie. Some of the things that I want you to remember: number 1, be on time. Make sure that you're allowing yourself time for parking, for traffic, for going to the bathroom, for freshening up, and also make sure that you know the route that you're going to. There could be construction. Make sure that you're neatly dressed. When in doubt, dress in the conservative side. This is business casual. Make sure that you smile. Friendly people are always easier to like, and giving them that smile initially will put all the defenses down. It'll help you feel less nervous. And be informed about the company. Go to their website. Research the company. Make sure you know their products. Make sure you know what is up and coming. Research, research, research. This is going to help you to answer a lot of the questions and to determine, is this a place that you really want to work for? Make sure that you're enthusiastic, but not too talkative. Maintain good eye contact. This establishes a sense of trust, and it helps build rapport. Make sure that you're honest with every question that's asked to you, and make sure you're honest in your resume as well. Make sure you summarize your strengths to differentiate you from other candidates for the position. Always send a follow-up thank you email or a note as soon as you can. This is going to help the interviewer to understand your determination, your character, your thoughtfulness, and your conscientiousness. I also want you to remember that there are things not to do. When you go into an interview, make sure you're not leaning, make sure that you have good manners, that you're not too aggressive in your actions. Don't get too close to the interviewer. Leave a proximity of about 4 feet. And don't display nervous activity. Try not to do anything like hand washing or rubbing your hair or playing with your clothes or your watch or picking your nails. All of these things are going to show. And don't be dishonest about anything, including some of the dates of employment or what you have done. Don't be vague about accomplishments. Be very specific and be positive. Don't just give yes or no answers. These result in dull and boring interviews. Don't make a major issue about asking about salary, pension, vacation, benefits. Please don't even bring those up in an interview. Don't ramble on. Make your point and stop. And don't leave without understanding what happens after the interview. So now let's take a look at a typical interview. See if you can find the things that this person did incorrectly and correctly.
Hello, Mrs. Freeman. Pleasure to meet you.
Have a seat. Actually, it's pronounced Furman.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's quite all right. Now, Mr. Williams, I do have a copy of your application. Do you have a copy of your resume?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Tell me about yourself.
Well, I've worked in customer service for 3 years. I didn't really care for my previous supervisor, and that's why I'm looking for a new job. He was completely incompetent. I need better benefits because my wife is expecting another child.
I see. I see. Well, our company has been in customer service for over 30 years. We have 40 offices in 15 states. And you said that it says here on your resume that you've worked in customer service. So why don't you give me an example of how you've dealt with difficult customers in the past?
Well, this one time a disgruntled customer called about a lost Christmas order. I tried to calm her down by listening to her concerns and working with her to track the order. I took her phone number and gave her my name and told her that I would get back to her shortly with some answers. I tracked the order and called her back to let her know that we were sending her order overnight. I then invited the customer to call back and ask for me if she had any other concerns.
So it's pretty obvious by this video that you can see he's chewing gum and he's giving personal information, asking about benefits, salary. Those are the things not to do. But some of the really positive things that he did was really good eye contact, a good firm handshake, and then he also explained about what he did in employment and how he did it. And that was a behavioral-based interview. So what's a behavioral-based interview? Behavioral-based interviews are probably 80% of what you're going to be asked in an interview. So you want to prepare yourself. And some of the ways that you can prepare yourself are by using this acronym, the STAR technique. In the STAR technique, what you're thinking about is the situation, you're talking about the task, you're talking about the action that you did, and then the result. So what you're doing is that you're painting a story. You're giving an employer an ideal look of what you have done and how you've done it and all of the good results that come from it. So for instance, if they say, discuss a time when a project didn't work out. Give me an example when you had to show good leadership. Tell me about a time when you had to deal with a difficult customer. When you're answering these questions, always make sure to spin it to a positive. No matter how negative it might sound at first. What if you had a difficult manager? Don't ever tell them that you had a difficult manager. Always give them solutions and reasons why the management was fantastic, no matter what. Or a difficult customer. How did you use your conflict resolution skills? What did you do to address what their needs were? Especially when you're not taking anything personally of what the customer's projecting onto you. I think that it's great to understand yourself in the interview process and know what kind of answers to give. Always, always, always make it positive. One of the other questions that they may ask, tell me about your greatest weakness. And this is a question that I get all the time with students. A greatest weakness, why would they want to know what my greatest weakness is? Well, there's a trick. Turn your greatest weakness into your greatest strength. One of the examples that you could give for a greatest weakness would be technology. Think about that. Here's an answer. One of my greatest weaknesses is that I really think that I don't know enough about technology. But what this has helped me to do is that I'm constantly updating my skills. I'm taking classes, I'm attending seminars, I'm constantly online. I make sure that I learn all the software. I try to find out what the trends are in the software. So really what I'm trying to do is update my skills constantly because it's changing so rapidly. That could be a good answer for you. So you're really not talking to them about a weakness that you have. It actually turns into a great strength and something that an employer would be looking for. Now you're coming to the point where you're at the end of the interview. And I want you to remember, don't bring up salary. Let them bring that up. Also, make sure that you always know how to get in contact with them after the interview so you can send them all thank you emails. Email is the fastest way to get to them right away, and they'll remember your name. You can get business cards from them. Always ask how to follow up. And one of the other important things to do at the end of an interview is ask questions. Ask questions to the employer. And people ask me, what are some questions that I can ask? Ask them about why this position became available. And you've done research about the company, right? So make sure that you ask them about some of the up-and-coming things that they're doing or how you can get involved with projects. Make sure that you relate your questions directly to the research of the company and make sure you find out a little bit about what the department is like. Now, what's it like to work for them? What's their ideal employee look like as well? So at the conclusion of the interview, everybody stands up and you give another firm handshake and you thank them for their time. Up to the perfect interview. And this is a great program that's going to help you with your interviewing skills. If you have a webcam, you can set it up and you can watch yourself doing interviewing as well. So this is going to help you practice, and when you're ready, come in, make an appointment with a career counselor, and we can help you to succeed.